Hi everyone, Nick at Dad the Prof here. Welcome back for this second video of the two-part special series on college preparation. In part one, I talked to the students who are preparing to go back to college, just gave some advice, suggestions, tips, and so on. And in this video, part two, I want to speak to parents of college students, whether that college student is a brand new one or if the student is returning. Either way, I offer these tips, suggestions, recommendations, however you want to refer to them, to parents of college students. Okay, so here we go. The main thing I would say, and again, this comes from over 20 years of experience I have teaching at the college level. The main thing I would say is let your child be an autonomous adult. You've successfully raised them. You've gotten them to successfully enter college, and that's awesome. I mean, you've done a great job right there. What I would say then is allow that little birdie to fly on their own and spread their wings and start learning about life more within the context of college, learning about academics, but also the social emotional learning that's going to be going on in a continuous fashion as well. So I would encourage you as a parent to let your child be an autonomous adult. Let them, expect them maybe to take ownership of what they're doing as a college student. I know that you're paying for it, or maybe you're paying for some of it, and or maybe they're living at your house still, eating your food still. Maybe you're even still doing their laundry. I know all that. I get it. So they're still with you. You're still helping them along the way somehow. So you have an ownership stake in the college thing. I get it. But on the other hand, I highly encourage you, let them have this one. Play the support role, right? Be the unconditional supporter in the background. Listen to them, encourage them, be a sounding board for them. Sometimes the best thing that people need when they have concerns, anxieties, worries is just to be heard. They may not be looking for someone to chime in with their perspective or their proposed solutions, or I know what you need to do. Sometimes it's just good enough to listen, and you don't necessarily have to do a whole lot more than that sometimes to help someone work through whatever it is they're working through. Again, I know you're paying for this. I know that they're still living at your house, eating your food. I get all that. But allow them to be autonomous adults. Listen and encourage. When they say they don't know what to do about some poor grade they got on a quiz, ask them, have you gone to see your professor? Have you asked him or her a question about the quiz? Have you gone to a tutor? Have you buddied up with friends to study together in that class? Those are the types of things that are good points of encouragement, I think, that you can be a rock star at advising your student in, right? If your student does live on campus, they should go to their RA. Maybe they can be of assistance. Go to the academic advisor, whatever the case may be. So, I encourage you to facilitate their growth from afar. Always be there, a steady source of support, love, positive regard, all that type of stuff. But let them stand on their own two legs. Let them do this, okay? Now, to that degree, I just want to briefly mention helicoptering. So resist the urge to helicopter. And basically what that means is as soon as there's a problem, oh man, I just had a Vanilla Ice moment. Yo, I'll solve it. Oh boy, I don't know. I think you know what I mean. But as soon as there's a problem, it's easy for a parent to want to play fixer. What is it that's bothering you? What do you need? Okay, let me go talk to that person, or let me go find the phone number or the email of the department that you need to go to, or whatever. I would highly encourage you to work with your student to brainstorm sources on campus that can be helpful for answering questions, solving problems, whatever. But I would resist the urge to do it yourself. So I'll call your professor and see if we can get an extension on that. No, no, no. You encourage your student, if you know that you're not going to get your homework done on time, your assignment's going to be late, why don't you contact your professor now and let her know what's going on? The guarantees in life are death and taxes, but maybe by being proactive and communicating with your professor, maybe they can work with you somehow. I don't know. But you don't know until you reach out. So I would encourage you to be someone who helps to problem solve by way of generating ideas and suggestions for how your student can then go ahead and seek answers to the questions or seek remedy to the issues that they are having, or whatever the case may be. Okay. The other thing too is I would highly encourage you to always communicate the importance of being in touch with their instructors. You know, whenever they talk about hardship in class or whatever, always encourage them. Have you emailed your professor? Have you seen your professor before or after class? Have you attempted to call them? You know, some professors are fine with getting text interaction going. That's kind of up to each professor. Personally, I don't do that, but however the professor has communicated, they're able to communicate. Have you gone to communicate with your professor? So encourage that. And that's good because it shows the professor individual responsibility, maturity, ownership of what they're doing, and all those things are really important, not just in school, but in life. We want people to be championing themselves and advocating for themselves. And this is one way that you can encourage them to do that. The other thing too is it happens rarely, but sometimes I will have a parent contact me and inquire about the academic performance of their student. And by law, I can't divulge that information. Okay, there's actually federal law that protects educational information. It's called FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So I, as a professor, am not legally able to communicate information about any student's academic performance to anybody else, whether it's to a parent or whether it's to a friend that is in class that's trying to pick up that student's homework. So I've had students before come to get their quizzes after class, and they're, like Biff isn't in class, and Biff is a good friend of the student that comes up and says, hey, I'm a friend of Biff's, or Biff is on the soccer team with me, or Biff is my roommate. And, Biff isn't going to be able to make it today, but he was asking if I could pick up his exam for him, his quiz for him, his paper, whatever. My reaction to that is that's great. I appreciate the willingness for you to do that, but due to FERPA law, I can't release that grade to anybody but Biff. So I appreciate it, but I'll just hold on to that for now and give it to Biff directly. As far as divulging his score, he can do that with whoever he wants, but I am legally obligated to release his academic performance only to him. The only exception is if a student has a FERPA waiver that he or she has signed and then indicated which people beyond him or herself are able to receive educational information about them, okay, like their academic performance, stuff like that. So important things to keep in mind. I mean, in the past, I've literally had parents before contact me and say, I want to talk with you about my student. She's not doing well. How does she get her grades better? And before I have that conversation, I've just explained FERPA and that I need to have a FERPA waiver confirmed before I can have those conversations about that student's grades. Okay, so that's something important to keep in mind. Maybe we don't think about FERPA very much, but it is an important legal aspect of safeguarding educational performance. So those would be the main things. Parents, I would encourage, let your student take personal responsibility for what they're doing. Let them be the captain of their educational ship. Guide, support, encourage, Be the rock, for your student. They need it, and you've done that for them to this point. Continue to do it for them, but allow them to do the things they need to do in order to solve problems and get things done. Okay, so two quick things to note here as I wrap this up. Number one, August is upon us. August is an awesome month. Again, not just because football's starting up, which football's awesome, but also because schools are firing up. From K through higher ed, schools are firing up. So it's really exciting. We're getting back into the educational lane of life, if you will, full speed ahead. And also sometimes people are moving. They've moved away for college, or they've moved back home for college sometimes if they've transferred, colleges or whatever. So, and if that's the case, I hope the relocation goes smoothly. That is definitely a gnarly issue in its own. The logistics of moving is so hard, but that's not within the scope of this video here. The other thing too is this, and if you've been to college, you know this, and certainly your student can tell you about this, but college is a great experience for most people. Again, death and taxes are the guarantees in life, but college generally is a great time of growth, development, acquisition of knowledge, understanding things better. Critical thinking develops more, which is awesome. We want people to be critical thinkers. So encourage your student to enjoy these years. Before you know it, they're going to be in the rearview mirror. 4 years sounds like a long time when you start college, but when you get done with college, you may be going, wow, where'd the time go? Gee, that didn't last long at all. So enjoy this time. It's not going to be like this forever. So savor that moment, but also, lean into it, do it well and get everything you can out of it. Okay. Things are going to get challenging. They don't always last. This is temporary, but get the job done, right? And look to social supports that are around you, institutional supports that are around you that can help out, okay? So when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Tough times don't last. Tough people do, all that cool stuff. So chin up and ready to carry on and get things done. So hope you've enjoyed this. Again, parents, if you have any kind of questions or comments, comment below. Of course, if you like this video, please like it, and then also subscribe to the channel if you're liking this content and other content I have up on it. So beyond that, blessings on your journey and best wishes as you get back into college. Take care, everyone.